You join us on the balcony of the British Racing Drivers Club here at Silverstone. And I'm joined by Matt. Matt, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Pleasure, thank you.
Real pleasure to have you on because you're a very important person. It's probably worth explaining who you are and what you do.
Sure. My name's Matt Garside. I'm the 140th President of the Institution of Mechanical Engineers. I've worked all the way up through Young Members Board, all the way up through Trustee Board and Council, with a total of 18 years now on Trustee Board and Council since about 2006, 2007. So a lot of knowledge and experience there, what it's like to be an NED, non-exec director type role, and just trying to do the best we can for the institution at every step.
That's absolutely fantastic. So how long have you been in the role so far?
So in terms of my presidency, I'm 2 months in, literally yesterday. So I've got another 10 months or so left. It's going quickly, it has to be said, and I've really enjoyed going to things like the Railway Challenge, the Unmanned Aerial Systems Challenge, and now today here at Formula Student. It's glorious. The sun's come out today. It was really, really bad weather yesterday.
It's great to see the sunshine at Formula Student. It's always a treat. How has it been for you so far as president over the past 2 months?
Well, it's been great overall. I mean, there's always some internal challenges here and there, as you'd expect with this kind of role. But as you kind of say, as I say, going through these challenges, really coming out and meeting people. I've been to CIBSE, Chartered Institute of Building Services Engineers, went to their presidential address earlier on in my year. Also been to the Royal Academy for once or twice to see what they're up to and see their presidential address and everything else. So really good to get those kind of engagement going, and I'm keen to do more as we move throughout my year.
Wonderful. And you're not just the president of the IMechE, you've also got a background in engineering yourself. What's your career progression been like and what got you to this point?
Sure. Well, I think it's fair to say that my IMechE career, if you want to call it that, has overtaken my day job career, if you like. I was in a staff role for a number of years with the likes of Alstec, Babcock, Costain, Rolls-Royce Submarines, but then I moved on to be a self-employed contractor, which I've done for the last 11 years or so, with companies like IMechE, Foster Wheeler, Wood, Nuvia, AWE, and now Costain into AWE.
Right, okay. And you've got 10 months left as president.
Absolutely, yep.
What are your goals over the next 10 months as president of the IMechE?
Yeah, they're fantastic. Well, if you've seen my previous video out there, you'll know that I'm really keen on the membership proposition. Making sure we've got value for our members, especially in the kind of veteran side of things, because whilst they might have their fees paid for by the armed forces at the moment, we need to make sure that we can retain them afterwards when they've come out of the armed forces and still see the value in that membership. Really keen for trustees to get out and about and meet people better, more regularly. So we're not seen to be in this ivory tower. And of course there's always the HQ building, which we need to make a decision on. We've got a lot of really good, healthy information, legal advice, etc., on what our next steps are. So hopefully over the next couple of months, like my recent message out to members says, we're looking to try and make a decision in September on what we take to the members for their vote.
Wonderful. And talking of members and membership, why is membership so important for professional engineers?
I think it's a healthy comparator, if anything. Or if you go back kind of 30, 40, 50 years or so, the number of people going through university was a lot lower. So not many people had the degrees, etc. So the degree was more the differentiator, if you like. I see now going through and getting something like engineering technician, incorporated engineer or chartered engineer, actually it gives you a way of differentiating yourself from others that might be going for a number of different jobs these days. The job for life is something that used to be around. It's not so much now. People chop and change their roles a lot more often, but also it shows that you've met a certain level of competency and that your peers have assessed you at that kind of level and said, yeah, okay, this person is great, and it just kind of conveys that level of gravitas, if you like, when you're kind of out and about in your kind of daily job.
There's some extra letters to put on the end of your name that have a real bit about them, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And whether or not you're from university, you can join as a graduate as an associate member, and that allows you to put the AM IMechE in front of you, after your name. Then when you join as a member, you go up as MI IMechE, and at the end of the day, fellow FIMechE is the ultimate, and something that I gladly got. It's around about, I think it was about 2019 when I picked that up, but you have to go all the way back down to 2006 when I actually got my chartership at the age of 25, which again is relatively rare even these days.
And we're looking out on a whole swathe of a lot of associate members, because to take part in Formula Student you need to be an associate member. We're here at Formula Student. Why is a competition like Formula Students so important to the IMechE, and what, from your experience, are the transferable skills that these students are going to gain from taking part?
Sure. Okay. Well, I don't know the statistics off the top of my head, but there's a very high possibility that everyone here will be able to find themselves a role within the automotive industry as a result of being involved in this. I think, you know, previously we've had like the patrons of this institution and this event have really been pushing in that kind of side of things. So where you got like the Ross Brawn's involvement and things like that, it really strengthens things. I mean, I mentioned earlier maybe a bit of teamwork kind of comes into this. They've come across problems, they try and get through scrutineering, it gets bounced back, fix it, bounce back, fix it, and then you go through and make sure you've got all your chits available, so you've done all your various tests that you need to do before you then take part in the dynamic events. Now, not all 134 teams will get there, but we're really hoping to have a good spectacle, especially over the weekend, as the dynamic events really kind of get underway.
That's exactly why we've got the unlimited runs on the Saturday, which we're really looking forward to seeing this year. And as someone with so much experience, both involved in the IMechE and also in industry, what one thing would you change about engineering if you could?
Oh, that's a really good question. I think for me it would be increase the level of kind of inclusivity. There's been a big drive on diversity and inclusion. We've kind of switched up our committee on that topic to culture and inclusion, just to make it just focus on that culture element a little bit more strongly. And I think it's really important that we increase the diversity. Now, you may have heard from a previous podcast I did with Dr. Alice Bunn, our CEO, which was about inclusive leadership. And I very much refer back to some of the old BMW adverts for their cars from the kind of late 90s, I think it was, which is they were saying their cars are greater than the sum of their parts. And I see that applying to teams, that they come along. You will never, if you have a team with just one individual who can do well, but nobody else is really pulling in the same direction, you're not going to achieve what you need to do. If you've got a team where you haven't necessarily got the best of the best of the best of the best, you can still carve that team into something really productive kind of going forward, so they go in the right direction.
So there's a lot happening in the next 10 months for you as president. I wish you the very best of luck.
Excellent.
I'm really grateful for your time, so thank you so much for coming on the podcast. And
no problem.
Please talk again soon.
Yeah, thanks. Cheers.
Cheers.